And I'm now joined by Fine Gael councillor from Callan, Joe Lyons, here at the election count for 2024. Joe, your colleagues in Fine Gael, Catherine Callan and Mick Doyle, David Fitzgerald, between the three of them, they should definitely get a seat. But which of the three is going to get that seat is the big question.
Well, that's the burning question, Paul. And at this stage, nobody knows what it is all to play for. Catherine is doing very well in Carlow. And
Sorry, we're just going to take a break. There's a vote count taking place.
Number of seats 5. Rota 11627. The following is the result of the 7 count, which consisted of the distribution of.
And we're back, and we just actually had a count there where Sean O'Horgan of the Labour Party, his votes were being distributed. And Joe Lyons, what's your reaction to how the votes were distributed? David Fitzgerald got 136, but the Greens and Social Democrats did very well there.
it is, yeah. And it's still there's no runaway here in this here in Carlow, Kilkenny, and it's not looking like that. All this is going to go down to the wire. And it's very important now. The next one now will be, I think it's Malcolm Noonan.
Well, Eugene McGuinness has been eliminated, so his votes are going to be distributed, and this could probably elect John McGuinness.
Yeah, more than likely get John over the line. That'll be the first one elected. It's still all to play for. It's very hard to call it. It's impossible.
And you were out canvassing for Mick Doyle. How did it go? What was it like on the doors? What were the big issues coming up?
Yeah, we had a very good campaign, and Michael ran a very well campaign. The issues were obviously the usual, like in rural Kilkenny, it's farming was a big one, and all their problems. Housing to a certain extent, but not as big as obviously in a city. It's different, but the farming end was the main concern, because there were mainly farmers. There was. His campaign itself was ran very, very well, and he had excellent help, and he covered a large area, and like the feedback was good. So like you'd be hoping, like we're still hoping that Michael will get through.
And there was some talk that your name might possibly go forward for selection at a convention to run in a constituency. Did you think about putting your name forward? Because obviously with John Paul Phelan retiring, there was going to be a space there, and a new candidate had to emerge. But was it something that crossed your mind at any stage?
Well, I suppose we all knew John Paul was going, and after 25 years service, we thank him for all the work he has done. But I suppose everyone thought it at the time, and then we all went through it. And then when it got down to the nitty gritty and the serious, will I or won't I, we had to obviously all make a decision, would we go or not? And like everyone, for personal reasons, I pulled out at the end, but we all gave it serious consideration. And we all felt then Michael was a good candidate and very well located as well. So hopefully it'll all pay off. And that's why we all got behind him. Callan Thomastown is where Michael had been for the last 11 years. And I suppose that's the reason we had backed Michael. And he's a rural person and big into the rural scene.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose final thought, it's more than likely going to be Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael coalition with a third party or independents. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously the Greens kind of have been decimated, so the Labour or the Social Democrats, they might be a little bit reluctant to go into government, and you might have to do a deal with a couple of like-minded independents.
Yeah, it depends on the final outcome, but I suppose if there's 82, 83 seats, they could talk to a few independents if they're, independents that have the country at heart.
Yeah.
The other option is Labour, and there's also a third option for Fine Gael, that they could opt out for the term, which I wouldn't agree with. I think the people were out, they voted for Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, and it's great to see Fine Gael there on a fourth term. It's brilliant. You would never say it in 2011.
No,
they want to go back on the fourth term.
Like at one stage, they never did 2 terms, but now they're going to do 4 terms in government. But some might say that's a long time. So by the time the next election rolls around, you could be in government nearly 18, 20 years.
Well, they say that, and they say you'll be burnt out and all the rest. But you see, they have a huge number of new young TDs as well, and that's great. And that'll be the new legacy for the next, say, in 5 years' time, and hopefully 5 in a row. It's never done in the world.
You never know. Kenny couldn't even do it in the hurling. Well, Joe, thanks a million for taking the time to talk to us here on the Irish Political Roundup. Thanks a million.
Okay, good man.